video talking to myself to see if I can express a little bit or some of it of what I feel at this time. I feel I am perhaps not right doing a video when the screen is on and it's showing on my dashboard. Therefore, what I'm going to do to be more comfortable about it, because I cannot fiddle around very much right now, is put a piece of tissue over the screen, because then I do not see myself and it does not cause a hazard. And also, it doesn't make me illegal, does it? Come on, pigeon. Oh, poor thing. I have not lately spoken very much about how I feel. All. My channel has been generally about music and not very much else, except not very much. A bit of homeopathy readings the other day, which I was going to finish, but in a better light and position. And the turkey videos the other day, Mummy Turkey, the most aggressive female turkey I have ever come across. So this is a video at the moment, the video content. It's a little bit, it's nice, I like the music, but it's a little bit restrained for me. I would like to feel that I can be more creative, or that I can be creative with the expression on this main channel, and that I can also help myself practice the speech. By practice, I mean watch it afterwards, listen, monitor how many times I say or how many times I look for my words, and how many, in general, coherent sentences I can say from start to finish. This is an excellent exercise. To practice the speech is to speak to myself. So I can speak a little bit about things that do not concern other people very much, so they are not personal to anyone else. But instead they are just for me to hear what I sound like, what I act like, who am I? As it is, after all, what this channel is about. It's about self-discovery. I have about 7 minutes of videos till I get home. So, I'll concentrate on the day, make sentences about what has happened today, or things that have gone through my mind and been strong. Anything that has been relevant for today. I'll start with a dream, the strange dream I had forgotten about, where I was with other people underwater. We all had very little space, and all of us had to wait their turn to be able to go up above the surface and be able to breathe, have some oxygen. And I was in the dream practicing to breathe water and get oxygen from water. So I would start breathing before I reached the surface, and I would then go back down, wondering to myself whether this was oxygen or water, whether I was drowning, and whether I was preventing anybody else to go to the surface. As I was very conscious of others, and I was not trying to get above them to get more breathing like normally we do when we are in a drowning sort of situation. That dream I had forgotten about till someone mentioned a pond which was apparently 3 meters deep, but is mostly mud. So that's reminded me of the dream. There were also a lot of other dreams last night, all a little bit frazzled mostly. Vaguely interesting, but I don't remember them at this minute. I was at work today at a market. There was an instance when a customer told me that last month she could not make it because her car ran out of battery and would not start, and she was in the middle of somewhere, so she had to call for rescue, and John went to fetch her or help her back to be on the road while I looked after his stall. This lady said that about the battery had gone flat, and it was very foolish of her not to pay attention to her battery. I said to her, in homeopathy everything is a symbol, including what happens to us and the cars. And I said that homeopathy would consider something like a flat battery to be a symptom of the person having exhausted themselves and life sending them a signal that they better slow down in life. She looked at me and smiled and said, in my case, it's just a lack of attention, a silly attention. She looked a little bit annoyed that I should interpret her event as anything else but foolishness on her part and lack of looking after her car. And it was interesting that she was not interested in talking about the fact that she might be overworked. She is a lady that has been very depressed and very sad at the amount of dying people that are around her, and all who are, of course, jabbed in the later years. But she doesn't want it to be anything to do with any injections. And when I suggested it might be, she said, "You're not going to speak like my son. He believes in all this rubbish." And I said, well, could be, could not be. We don't know, since they've not been tested sufficient long enough. So this is the same lady who's very depressed, and I said to her, being depressed with a leftover of your friends will not help them. Isn't it better to look with joy at the ones who are here and be a guiding light for them? Be joyful, because as you're joyful with all your widow friends, you can help them better to just feel happier. And she said, it's not a bad idea. But then the next month she complained again about how many dead people there was in her life. And I thought that I could tell her again. I'd sort of told her about being a joy being a loving, beautiful person in their lives. And she said, well, I'm too depressed for that. Okay. Be depressed if that's what you want to be. It is, I know we want to be depressed sometimes. I was wanting to be depressed after I had to kill my hen. It was horrible and I felt like a bad person and I felt awful. In fact, it was the last market of today a month ago or 4 weeks ago that I decided to finish my hen. And it has been very difficult for 3 weeks. I wanted to mourn, I wanted to be sad, I wanted to be in negative energy. I just wanted to be. So let her be. So that was one thing today. One other thing is one lady who's a good customer who values my art, not heart. She saw the Hanson bags and she said, how brilliant they are, how beautiful, I'll have this one. How much is it? And I said £10.50, they're on sale on the website. And she paid for that and a large chocolate bar. And I was so touched that she valued my work to the point of paying for it. It made me feel very good. There was a lady from a good customer. She lives in America, her husband lives over here. He travels a lot, but she was coming today. And she had sent me a photo 2 months ago about the collection of little bags, fabric bags that I have done over the years and that she had a few of. So last night I wanted to make a bag for her and made one with a print of a sea and waves and some brown fabrics on the edge and some handles of the same blue and a little pocket made from brown fabric matching the brown edges. And I gave it to her and she was so pleased. She looked at it, she said, oh, you're a good seamstress, you've even done the lining here inside, and she was so overjoyed. It made me very happy to make her happy. It's so nice to make people happy, isn't it? It's a joy. Oh, there we are. Yeah, it is a joy. I was very pleased. And what else today? I went to a place I have been a few times. Oh, I'll shut the engine for a bit. And in that place, it's unfortunate, but there's lots of new houses being built. I'll tell you what it is. It's a club for naturists, and they've got an edge with that field. There's like, I think 450 new housing on a hill. They're built over mines, but apparently they're built over enormous amounts of concrete, so they shouldn't collapse in the mines like they have done in some places in Wales where the houses just collapse in a hole. But it's so sad and I find it really depressing. I look at new housing and it really deeply affects me. Or rather, I choose to let it affect me deeply. Because these houses are all together, they are like building a town. So instead of using townhouses that are empty, they build new towny houses. Obviously they are detached, but they're like that far apart from each other. Sometimes they're far apart enough for a car, but it's just a townhouse. And they look shit. That really gets my guts. And apparently the new government, well, the old government was agreeing, they forced 1,500 new houses in that area. I'm talking about a suburb, so it's far away enough from Birmingham. I don't know how far actually. And it's not in a built-up area, so there's a town, I don't know, 10 miles away? Maybe, so they've built this, plonked this in the middle of the countryside, this horrible housing estate. And there's another one opposite coming, So it's away from the clubs, that other one. Just same like ugly houses close together. It's like being in a town without the benefits of a town. Just spoiling the countryside, and the new government is going to do more of that apparently. More houses in the green belt. So I guess that's where I went, Camberley and that area. Lots of new housing there, lucky them. It's depressing. Why do they need to do that? Can't you leave the countryside to be countryside? And that is interesting. I'm sure it's a homeopathy symptom on my part to be affected. Everyone has the right to live in the countryside if they want, but why move in the countryside, in a town in the countryside? That's a new town that has no character, and that's cheaply made. So the houses in 30, 40 years, someone was telling me he won't be able to live that with his children, maybe 50 years, because they'll be so weak, they're so crappily built that they'll be just shells, they'll be like nothing. And I'm thinking of the weight of that on the nature, the pollution. But so that's depressing. I choose to be depressed about that if I want, if I must. What else has been exciting today? What has been exciting? Let's think about something I've been so grateful for. A good market, good finances coming back today as well as yesterday. The joy of knowing I'm coming home and I've got peace, do what I want. I'm so selfish. I'm so happy to be on my own. I love it. All that's waiting for me here is the little chicks. They want a few worms before bed. And I've got to have some dinner. It's 8:10. So I'll probably do something like millas, what my grandmother called millas, which is milk with rough corn flour. Because I've had a bit of lunch, so I've had some vegetables. I've had a little bit of fish this morning, so I've had some protein. I've had some bread. So I think perhaps I've eaten enough. A bit of that to fill my stomach with some honey and milk and some butter. The chicks, I'll go and see the little turkey chick, hold it for a bit and then go to bed. It's so nice, I know all these people who have partners who are difficult, very difficult, jealous, possessive, treat them like servants, domestic slaves. And I think to myself, I could be one of those. I could have to hide, have to pretend, have to lie, not be allowed to go out, be told I can't do this, can't do that. No. Oh, I love being single. I love it so much. And there's none of this obligation. Oh, I'm feeling rowdy. Can you have I caress your thigh? Can you, have a bit of sex? No, I don't want that. Thank you. I don't want it. Oh, well, if you don't want it, you can fuck off then. Okay, I'll fuck off. I'm single again. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I don't have to feel obliged. I don't have to be obligated to anyone. I don't have to invent things to do what I want. I don't have to be called weird to be using urine for shampoo if I want to do all the weird things I have done, which are not that many comparing to some people, to others. It's nice. It's nice not to feel judged, not to feel owned. That feeling of freedom is sometimes in relationships, they also take us for granted and we feel owned because they own us. They think we are their belonging. And they treat us like it too. And it can be fun for a while till one, me, you, realizes it's too much. And then one, me, you, eats something that one shouldn't eat, that might trigger the mind and make it snap in a different way. And that may start one acting in the ways the repressed self has never been able to act, because the repressed self has learned to be there for other people and not for oneself, to serve others always and not serve oneself first, to look after everybody else's needs and neglect one's needs. I know what I'm going to share with you. Something exciting. Yesterday I had a lady come to do a one-to-one Qigong, Tai Chi energy work with me. She came in the afternoon after my market, and it was wonderful. She is gifted. We did a lot of sitting down exercises. Yesterday I had a very bad knee, symptom of homeopathy perhaps. So my right knee felt like it had been torn apart a bit, like when I tore it nearly 10 years ago, running for a train, carrying a heavy bag, twisted on a clang. And I didn't rest because I was going to see someone in Birmingham. So that was it. The knee took years to heal. I did lots of therapy on it, craniosacral therapy mostly, which was the most helpful, osteopathy, things like that. So that symptom is still there. The knee every so often goes, but very much less. So homeopathy working the way it does, it brings back the old symptoms. So for 4 days I had, for 3 days, a very bad knee, very bad. So I did the Qigong with her. All we did is we did a few exercises, fingers, the pressing while breathing. My nose is very blocked today, but we did it, breathing through the nose, expiring through the mouth, like that. Then bending the fingers, like that, each hand slowly while breathing. Bending using a V, like that, each finger, like that. And then breathing in between, slowly, 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 feel your hands, as the hands felt like stuff was in it, like thickness. And then we did some exercise, feeling the water around us, imagining we are in the pond. A pond, I don't like the word pond because it sounds stagnant, more like a clean water lake, a small lake, up to the hips. And inside the hips is a white glass bowl with the water, our own water, doing this. And then we are in a pond, and there's a drop of water, plink. And with our hands, we listen to the plink. Listen to the surface of the water. Every time we breathe out, plink, a drop of water in that lake. Our lake. Listen with the hands. And then after we did a little bit of movement, a very little movement in fact. A bit of rotating the knees, just like that with the feet together. A little bit the hips, very little movement. And a bit of energy with the hands like that. A bit of brushing the energy here on the arms. And afterwards, and you are expecting me to say this, afterwards my knee was better. It was better. It wasn't hurting as much, and it was hurting really much. It's like hurting like a bit hurting, oh it's okay. A bit hurting, oh yeah. Like on and off. But the previous night it had been hurting all night. Previous day it felt like it was dislocated, just dangling like that, like it was doing weird things. If I moved it, it's like dangling on strings nearly. So I showed my friend a bit of the Qigong when he came to have a drink afterwards. Yes, I've got a friend. I've got 2 friends. Well, 3 friends. 3? Yeah, I think I've got 3 friends. So I showed him. And I did the exercises, showed him slowly, did a bit of breathing. And my knee afterwards was entirely okay. I could go up the stairs without flinching, without having to do like that with my leg. And coming down the steps, I could use my knee as well. I went to see my other friend, and I could walk up the stairs without doing funny distortion and holding. Oh, and what I didn't tell you during that session, enormous amounts of yawning, particularly when I was pressing my index fingers, both of them. Enormous amounts of yawning generally. In fact, I'm yawning just thinking about it. And there was also emotional coming up. I cried several times, no idea why. It wasn't gratitude, it was sadness, something released. But because it's not about therapy, we are doing energy work, I just let my tears fall. I didn't start making a show of it, or just let it fall. Just let it, carry on breathing. She didn't point it out. She didn't say, "Are you all right? Oh, please don't cry," like stupid people say. She just carried on. So let that go. I felt at some point I had energy building up, which is always with me, with a lot of us. It is just emotion. It is like, and that's after crying. So it came up, then it dissolves. So that happened. So I know there's been release during the session with this lady, and it's probably to do with the knee. So I was concerned, and I will tell my homeopath that it could be suppression doing that Tai Chi, but I don't think it is, because all we did is naturally we would do it, like we might just press our fingers because we're bored, might bend them here, might just feel the water around us in the lake just because we want to feel the water. Anybody would do that. So I don't think it's repressive, like having gone to see an osteopath for my knee would have been, where like force, click, 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 which is okay because it works for some of us. But it's not what I want at this time when I'm doing homeopathy, and I'm happy to see the symptom coming back and then clearing itself. But in this case, it cleared a lot quicker. So that was super exciting, and I felt so good after the session. This lady is outstanding. She's gifted. The way she speaks is more than relaxing. It's just, like that. She speaks French. She studied in France, and she speaks a little bit. We don't do it in French, but it's still nice that she speaks French. And I was very grateful for that session. And now it is 8:23 according to my clock here. So I will go, and I'll tell you another exciting thing today at the club. I have been bitten about 20 times by mosquitoes, and my friend I went in, I've got 4 friends. My friend, I don't see him very often, so we don't talk that much about deep things, so I guess he's more of a further friend, but he didn't get one bite. I got bitten all over here. It's not visible now so much. Here, on the backside, on the legs, so many on the legs, on the thigh, on the feet. Yeah, it's not too bad at all actually now. But that was a very exciting. It shows that mosquitoes still love me. I carry something in my blood that attracts them. So I guess there's still a lot of work to do on me. In fact, I don't need to have the tissue anymore. Who I am. Oh, hello. Yes. I look up now because the phone is upside down. I don't know if this video might be upside down. We'll see. So this is it. 29 minutes. This does it for this video. And I'll watch it again and see if I've improved my speech. And I might need to do some EFT about the new housing. Oh my God. It's so upsetting. It's everywhere. Like, I imagine here they're probably going to build in the field behind, like all the way through to Hereford. It's, my nightmare is that the whole of England is just one huge suburb. And there's nowhere, you can't run anywhere to get to the countryside because there's no more countryside. But let's clap. Let's clap for gratitude, for what the day has given me. All the good moments, the challenges. I thank the day for the fear. because the fear is there to teach me something. Thank you, the day, for this location I'm coming back to. Thank you for my life. Thank you for the freedom I feel with myself of just doing what I want and being so selfish. Thank you, life. Thank you. Thank you. I won't clap any louder because it might make too much noise for anybody watching this. I want to do it, don't I? Gate.